First we're on Haven, looking at this Nanoswarm in sewers going through the wall into B site. The easiest way to place this is to come onto the box and throw it under arm. Once it's activated, this will damage anyone playing on top of the boxes at the front of B site, pushing them out of cover into the fire of a player holding the angle from mid cubby into the site. Next is a Nanoswarm to help the defensive retake of A site. It'll move anyone playing in the corner close to the right hand side of the entrance to site. When you activate the grenade, you'll either push the player out of this position into your crosshairs, or you'll confirm that this position is clear, meaning you won't have to check it as you enter the site. The third spot for Haven is from garage into the mid cubby area. This grenade can be placed before the round starts or by a Killjoy rotating from C site to help at B. This will force anyone who's playing right in the corner of the cubby into the open, where they can be taken out by any defenders holding an angle from A link. The area of effect also catches anyone playing in the right hand corner of site, so be careful not to damage your own team. Next we're on to Bind. The first Nanoswarm is placed inside the door of the teleporter. Make sure not to throw it too far to the right though, as it will go straight through to the other side. This area is actually pretty common for Nanoswarms, but this is the most hidden spot I've found yet. It will damage anyone playing in the close corner of the cubby, forcing them out into the open, and it's impossible for the attacking team to get past it without taking damage. This next spot is for the attacking team to stop a defensive push through lamps. By placing the Nanoswarm in this corner, it will damage anyone trying to push through lamps to flank your team. It can be used pre or post plant, meaning you won't have to dedicate a player to watch this rotation, and in clutch situations you can keep your back safe. It also damages the other side of the pillar in case a player is hiding there in the post plant. This setup is the most common one I see for the B side of Bind. Whilst it can work effectively, if a player baits out your alarm bot and then retreats back into window, they won't be damaged by a Nanoswarm on the floor. By placing the Nanoswarm on the right hand side of the box, it'll be slightly higher up, meaning it will damage anyone playing close to the window, as well as anyone who jumps down into the site, and there'll be extra damage if they're hit by your alarm bot too. Place it as close to the wall as possible to make it hard for the attacking team to shoot out. Next up is Ascent. This is my favourite spot on the list. Place the Nanoswarm between the two boxes to deny any defenders pushing onto site from Rafters after the spike is planted. Using the Nanoswarms here will severely slow down any attempted retakes or damage anyone who tries to run through it, and they should be an easy elimination as they run past. Next is a defensive Nanoswarm for B site. By placing it in this corner, it's very hard to shoot out, and you'll force anyone who's crossed over the doorway out of the corner into the open. From this position, it's impossible for the attackers to get past the swarm without taking damage, even though it looks like there's a slight gap, meaning the attackers will either have to back off or rush into site. The next placement capitalises on any attackers that did decide to rush in, as they'll likely try to get to the cover of the boathouse as quickly as possible, where you can then activate this Nanoswarm to damage them as they push past. By then holding the angle from the back of boathouse, you can finish off any enemies that make it through. In a retake, this can also be useful to clear off anyone on the box in the corner of sight. The final map is Split. I've not shown any spike defending placements yet, as they're pretty obvious, but on the A side of Split, by using this pillar as a buffer, you can place some pretty tricky Nanoswarms. This method works with the spike planted either side of the pillar, and is much more effective than throwing the Nanoswarms next to or within the spike. You can do a similar trick using the box in the middle of site too. The next spot on Split is to help you push from mid into B Heaven. There's a pretty common head glitch in the boxes behind Heaven, and by using this Nanoswarm on the ledge in Male, you'll clear anyone out of this position. If you time your push correctly, you'll be able to easily catch anyone moving out of this position as you push into Heaven. This also reaches the near side of the box, which is a fairly common shotgun spot. This final spot is similar to the one I showed for the A Rafters of Ascent. Make sure to throw the grenade as high up the ramp as possible, as they sometimes like to slip off. Once placed, the Nanoswarm is almost impossible to destroy from Heaven, and if a player is in the position where they can destroy it, they're very vulnerable to anyone playing in sight. The area of effect damages anyone pushing out of Heaven into sight, meaning you'll either slow down the defence's retake or significantly damage them as they rush sight, which should make them an easy kill for you. If you found this video useful, please check out these other guides. Thanks for watching!